So then there becomes a time where you can't justify.
Oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God.
So this particular night was the night that we found out that there was a ghost. We were all sitting down for dinner. And this is part one of the two parts of the things that you can't deny. Oh, so we're all sitting down for dinner as a family. And we had one of those, the garbage cans with the flap tops.
Yes.
You put it in flaps, whatever.
Yes.
So we're all sitting down for dinner. And all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the garbage can top just starts flapping. And I was like, what is that? And
you can obviously hear it.
We can hear it.
And then you look over and it's like, see it.
Yeah. And I was like, what is that? And my stepdad, I looked over at him. He has this like little smirk on his face. I'm like, why are you smirking? He's like, oh, that's Merritt. I'm like, who's Merritt? What do you mean? He's like, oh, he actually committed suicide in the house before, you moved in.
Just casually at dinner one night. Oh, it's just our friendly ghost. Well, he killed himself here. It's fine. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Lockbox. I'm Stephanie Zalowski. And today, Mia Tidwell is in the house.
Woo.
What up, girl?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Mia is a realtor with Compass and the O'Byrne team. She was also the host of HGTV's Hot Property San Diego. I'm really sad that did not go
I know.
past. It went like one season, right?
It went one season. It aired during COVID.
Who do we need to talk to? Who do we need to talk to? Okay, we'll get to more of that in a minute. And according to her IG bio, she is a lover of dumb fun. And let me just say, I have followed you on Instagram for a long time. I love it so much. Okay.
Thank you.
I really love like when you go visit your parents back home and Cracker Barrel or whatever restaurant you are in gives you a uniform to fully dress up in to surprise your parents. And I have to tell you, I have thought, how can I do this with my family and myself? Because it's just amazing. Anyway, you also kill it in the real estate game, you and your team as a whole. So welcome to Behind the Lockbox.
Thank you. That was a beautiful introduction.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So we were chatting before we started recording, and what really like spurred all this, because again, Seth is also on the list. Like I keep a running list of agents that I'm like, I'm going to reach out to. I want them to come on. Right. Mm-hmm. Kara Kay came on the episode or on the show, I don't know, a month or two ago or whatever. Hi, Kara, we love you. And you had commented because she had a ghost story. You were like, I also have one. And Kara texted me and you had me on now. And I'm like, you know what? You are so right about this. But this is not a deal that you did. This was a house you grew up in.
Correct.
Which is, I'm like so pumped right now. So just take it away. Tell me everything.
Okay. Well, so my parents split when I was 15.
Okay.
So I got basically thrown into living with my mom and then now my new stepdad, who had a couple kids. And
oh, wow.
It was pretty funny because one of his children I grew up with my entire life.
Oh,
like
no
from
way.
preschool.
Like you went to school with this, and then
with him.
How did your mom meet him? Just in town?
My stepdad was the town sheriff.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Are they still together?
Yes, they're still together.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen him on your Instagram.
Yes, and he's wonderful. He's in the Cracker Barrel story. So
love it.
Yes. Anyways, my stepdad was the town sheriff, and when he was working, he got called to the scene of a crime at a property where the poor gentleman committed suicide at the house. Okay. And after everything was cleaned up and the whole thing, they put the house up for sale, and my stepdad bought it.
He was like,
this one seems right.
This house looks good.
I'm going to do this one. Yeah. I'm like, granted, the town was only 500 people in the town, so there's not many properties.
It's not a lot to pick from. So, okay.
Right. So when a house comes up, there's bidding wars.
Just jump on it.
You just take it, you know?
Yeah.
So he moves in there, unbeknownst to us at the time, because he moved in there before my mom and him started dating.
Got it. Okay.
So unbeknownst to us, when he moved in, he realized the home was haunted. And he had seen the guy, like, as a ghost form in the house.
Shut up.
I swear. And he knew who he was because he knew the guy, because the town's so small.
I was going to say, if the town is small, he must have known who, and being the sheriff or whatever.
Yes.
Whoa.
And the guy who lived there before, his name was Merritt. So because my stepdad started seeing him around the house, he just started calling him by name. Like, oh, hey, Merritt, how's it going? Hey.
Wow. And he never felt threatened. It was just like, sometimes they say when that people die there, maybe it's unfinished or it's just the safe place they go back to, their soul or whatever the case may be, right? And so, okay.
I'm a full believer in
so am I.
Ghosts, spirits.
100%.
So when my mom and my stepdad started dating.
He's like, we have a roommate.
Well, they told her, but they didn't tell us.
Fair, because you were what? 15, 16?
15.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have moved in.
No.
And to make it worse, before I knew, my stepdad's like, well, we have a basement with no windows. We're going to refinish that, and that's where your room's going to be. I'm like,
just yours?
Mine and my now stepbrother, the guy I'd grown up with, and now here we are at 15 years old moving in together.
You're like, this is what is happening. Okay.
It's small town stuff. Though,
Yeah.
So when they got married, we're like, okay, my mom's like, we're going to move into Keith's house.
Okay.
I'm like, okay. So we move in, and there were little things that I noticed, but I didn't think anything of it. You know, like a light would turn on here and there, but I was like, oh, it's electrical.
I would have been like, who's messing with me, and turn it off, and like,
yes,
that's it.
We've seen many lights flicker. Not a big deal.
100%.
There were a couple times at night in the basement. There's a radio that was in my stepdad's craft room that would just turn on randomly. I'm like,
in the middle of the night?
But then, yes, in the middle of the night. But then it's like, you can justify these things a bit, right?
I would all day long, especially if you have like a sibling sleeping down there with you, or like it's his craft room. Maybe he left it on and I just heard it somehow, whatever. Right.
We can justify those
all
away.
Day. Yes.
So then there becomes a time where you can't justify.
Oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God.
So this particular night was the night that we found out that there was a ghost. We were all sitting down for dinner. And this is part one of the two parts of the things that you can't deny. So we're all sitting down for dinner as a family. And we had one of those, the garbage cans with the flap tops.
Yes.
You put it in flaps, whatever.
Yes.
So we're all sitting down for dinner. And all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, the garbage can top just starts flapping. And I was like, what is that?
And you can obviously hear it.
We can hear it,
and then you look over and it's like, see it.
Yeah. And I was like, what is that? And my stepdad, I looked over at him. He has this like little smirk on his face. I'm like, why are you smirking? He's like, oh, that's Merritt. I'm like, who's Merritt? What do you mean? He's like, oh, he actually committed suicide in the house before, you moved in.
Just
and
casually at dinner one night. Oh, it's just our friendly ghost.
Well,
he killed himself here. It's fine.
Well, and then my mom was like, oh, yeah, we didn't want to say anything, but I've seen him. So now it becomes like I'm the only one who hasn't seen him.
Had your stepbrother seen him?
My stepbrother ended up seeing him. And then my mom does crafts. So she was sitting on the floor one night, she said, and looked down the hallway. And Merritt had walked from their bedroom across the hall to the bathroom. And the only reason my mom found out it was haunted is because she then told my stepdad, her husband, Keith, she's like, hey, so I think I saw like somebody walking down the hallway.
Like, am I going crazy? And he's like, oh, no, you're not. That's just Merritt. It's
correct.
fine.
And she described to him what Merritt looked like. So I was like,
wow,
oh
so
gosh.
they are full on seeing, like,
full on.
Like, I mean, he is really enclosed. He's appearing like he's there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so
that has
like,
never happened to me. I don't know what I would do.
Well, and then I'm like, gosh, I don't like.
What did you say in that moment?
Well, I kind of like, I freaked out. I was like, well, why wouldn't you guys like say anything? Like, he's harmless. He's never done anything weird. He's like positive energy. This whole thing. I was like, okay. And like, what choice do I have at 15?
Nothing.
Like,
you can't leave.
I'm not leaving.
Run away. I mean,
right.
Come on. Yeah.
So I didn't sleep for 2 weeks basically. Cause I'm like sleeping with the light on in my room. So finally you just kind of, then you just start even justifying that away. You're like, well, like maybe it was just like off the thing.
Right.
You make stories up.
Right.
Tell yourself the story.
Right.
So one weekend, a couple weeks later, I'm home by myself. And I was downstairs in my room and I was cleaning my room and I was going through old photos. So I'm also a licensed cosmetologist. So back in the day.
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back in the day, we did before and after photos at
Sure.
my beauty school.
Yeah.
And I found this photo when I was cleaning my room, and it was a before picture of me.
Okay.
And I held it up. I'm home by myself, right? And I hold it up and I said out loud, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst photo I've ever taken. And I like shoved it in the corner of my room under papers, this whole thing.
Right.
Like, I don't even want to look at it. It's so
Right.
ugly. And I go upstairs for a couple hours, and then I was like, I'm going to get ready for bed. So I come back downstairs. I go into my bedroom.
Oh my God.
And
Oh my God.
something just, when you're in your peripheral vision, something catches your eye. It's out of place. I look over in the corner of my room. I had a corner table with photo frames set up on it. That photo replaced one of the photos in my picture frames.
Behind the glass?
Behind the glass.
Shut me a no.
Swear.
I have chills right now. I'm not even kidding. They are all like,
I swear. And everybody, every time I tell this story, they're like, are you sure your brother or somebody wasn't just playing a joke on you? I'm like, I was home by myself.
and no one had come home and you didn't tell anybody that you shoved it under anything. Like, of course not. No, I believe this, but
So I ran over there and I just slammed all the photo frames down, ran around the house, turned on all the lights in my house, and literally on the couch with
like,
a
I am
cover
not
over my
going
head.
anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not moving.
I'm not
turned
even
the
going
TV on.
downstairs.
Nope.
Yep.
So I slept on the couch that night. And again, another like good
Were you staying
month.
home like alone that night? Like
That
they were out
night,
of town or
home alone.
something?
Didn't sleep at all.
Oh my God, I wouldn't
All
know.
lights on, TV on, everything.
I don't even know what I would. Yes.
So
Yes.
that was, and then I ended up like moving out. So my parents just bought a new house 6 months ago.
Okay.
But up until then,
They'd been there.
they were there, and I would never stay with them.
When
I
all
went
the
to bed,
times that I see you going home to see your mom, you're like, nope, I'm in a hotel.
I'm in a hotel every time.
You don't need to see Merritt again.
And my mom-
You experienced him enough.
I know,
That is
my
enough.
Mom was she's been so sad for the past X amount of years.
Well, Mom,
that I haven't.
move out of Merritt's house and I will come stay with you.
I'm like, why would I do that? Like, I'm guaranteed one full night of zero sleep. I'm not doing that.
No,
So-
because he's gonna be like, oh hey girl, long time no see,
right? So I never stay back there. And of now, they bought a new house 6 months ago, and somebody also passed away in that house. So I'm like, can we? Like, what does it take
You're
to
like,
buy?
what's your mom's name?
Beth.
Beth. I'm never coming to stay with you. If you want me to stay with you, Beth, then you need to move into a home that no one has died in.
We need a new construction.
Is that one haunted?
So I have stayed there, and it's got a better energy. If I can, better energy about it, because it was an older woman. She passed away peacefully in her sleep.
Fair.
Whereas
and who
the
doesn't
other
love
one,
a grandma?
he
no. And look, they can say all
killed
day long
himself.
that like he's probably not harmless or whatever, but he killed himself. Like there was no one in their right mind kills themselves.
Correct.
So like there was mental anguish there, which means there's unfinished business, which is why he hasn't left.
Maybe he's upset he didn't take someone with him. I don't want to be.
You don't know. I'm not going to be the one. Yeah. What the?
Yeah.
No.
So that's my ghost story. Don't really have any ghost stories within selling actual.
I don't
real
either, and I'm
estate
kind
here.
of sad about it. Also, I'm kind of glad about it because I don't want them following me home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad about it because it's funny in real estate.
I'm a little sad about it too.
Yeah, when I'm kind of going through all of my stories and thinking of things, I kind of like when stuff happens.
I do
Is that
too.
weird?
No, it's not. I do too. I'm like, I get people come on this podcast and tell us stories, and I'm like, I've never found a dildo at a property. Like, I'm sad. Like, that'd be so funny. Like, why not? Like, you know what I mean? And it's just, my mom, she'll listen and be like, has that ever happened to you? And I'm like, no. I wish it would, so that's why I had to start a podcast, because I didn't have enough stories of my own. I needed all of you.
I love it. I mean, you'll get like the random, like I've had a stripper pole house.
For sure.
You've seen handcuffs.
For
and stuff
sure.
like that. But I was kind of tracking
the occasional squatter where you run out screaming, or like, I actually don't go into properties anymore by myself.
Well, the squatter story is probably one of my biggest stories.
Oh, well, I didn't even know. And that was a good segue. Go ahead. Tell me more.
Oh my gosh. So when I was racking my brain trying to think, and go back through my Rolodex of homes.
Because
over
we
the
have
past
what's called deal
decade.
amnesia.
It really is. It really is. But also, I realized part of the reason why I've stayed in real estate so long is because I do like when stuff happens.
Totally.
It keeps it
We're glutton for
interesting.
punishment. We're a little sick in that way where we're like, we like the drama. We like the stress, even though I tell myself I hate the stress. And I'm like, this is so stressful. Like, why am I doing this to myself? And then I'm back the next day.
But
So
I'm
anyway.
like, wait till I tell people the story.
This happened. Exactly.
Yeah. So this was more recent.
Okay.
This was probably 3 months, 4 months.
Oh, wow.
ago.
Okay.
So it's pretty fresh.
What part of town?
I'd rather not say.
Oh, you don't have to. That's okay.
Yeah, I'd rather not say. Because the house sold.
Okay, good.
And so this particular property I had tried to sell last year in the really weird market. Didn't sell. We pulled it off.
Yeah, we had a tough one last year.
Yeah. We're like, we'll try it again this year. So I listed it. We had it fully staged.
Okay.
Beautiful home, beautiful views.
You guys do a really good job with your staging.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So put it back on the market. We're getting a ton of showings, and I'm pretty particular with my staging, and I like things perfectly set up.
Me too.
I kind of walk into every home knowing that people are going to buy on emotion.
For
right?
sure.
So I'm going, what do I want to see when I walk in?
Right.
So I'd had it was a little bit of a tougher sale property, beautiful home, but smaller square footage for the price point. So it was a little challenging. So it had been on market for about a month. And I walked in one day and I just noticed one of the pillows was just like slightly off.
Oh boy.
But I was also going
again, we always are like, oh, an agent probably sat here at a showing. Maybe Seth was here. I don't know.
Yeah.
He sat down. One of our team members came through.
Seth
like
running through, throwing my pillows everywhere.
Or like they sat down and talked to somebody on the phone and like moved it out of the way. Like I would justify that all day long in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, there was just like an open house here. So maybe I just missed. Whatever.
100%.
Not a big deal.
Somebody sat down during it and I didn't fluff that pillow again. Right.
So,
but did you feel weird in the moment and
yes.
Okay. So you did not listen to that and you were just like.
Right. Now, because mind you, it was in the master bedroom.
Okay.
So I had a staging chair in the corner and the pillow was off. And I was like.
Right. So, okay. So this is not the couch in the living room where you're sitting or open house people come in and sit and try to envision themselves there. Like it's a little chair next to the bed where no one is really going to sit there. Right.
No one's sitting there.
Right.
Nobody's sitting there.
Fair.
But yet it's like kind of flattened. Like, let me just puff that back up. Yeah. No, not a big deal. It was fine. I let that one go. I'm alone.
Yeah.
I let that one go. And then 2 days later, I came back for showing because I was mainly doing accompanied showings only.
Okay.
So I came back.
Which I usually do on every listing anyway.
Yes.
It's rare that I have something vacant on lockbox sometimes, but I usually accompany them anyway.
Correct. Even if it's vacant on lockbox, I prefer to be there.
I do too, because there could be questions they have, or like, especially if it's something that isn't selling necessarily right away, I want to really sell it to them and show them what they could do or whatever. Because the agent showing doesn't always know everything about the house. And if it has been fixed up or whatever, you need to do that work.
Right. Yeah. And at this point in our career, I'm sure like you and me, I have residual business 100%. Of the same clients.
Yes.
So this is also a property. This is the third house I've bought and sold with them.
And especially when it's the listing.
Yeah.
You're not just going to throw a lockbox and be like, okay, it's on the MLS. Like, no, we're going to show up for them and show it every time. And yes, 100%.
Right.
Yep.
So a couple days then later, I go in, I had a showing. So I got there about 20 minutes early, kind of make sure everything's, turn on the lights, everything. And I walk into the master bedroom and the pillows moved again.
That's when I would fucking freak out. Like I would either be like, Merritt is back. Merritt has followed me to San Diego.
Well,
or someone is here.
This is my first thought that it's a ghost because I'm going.
You've obviously had experience with this.
I'm going, I'm not losing it. I'm like, did I send my.
And the bed wasn't messed up?
No. And I'm like, did I send my contractor here? Like, I'm trying to again rack my brain. I was like, this one's
weird.
Throwing me off.
Yes.
Because I'm also so particular, and I knew that I had like fluffed it, I chopped it, did the whole thing.
100%.
I'm like, and it's now again like flat.
That's how it looks.
Yeah, flat. It's just like smashed in the back of the chair.
You're like, what is that?
I'm like,
flat again.
And so obviously in these situations, you don't want to immediately alarm the homeowners, right? It's vacant because you want to get to the bottom of it.
You got to see what happened and who's been here.
And I'm going like, and I picked up the pillow and I like turned it over and there was like a little like dirt on the back of the pillow now. Then I'm like, well, maybe that was already there. But now I'm just looking for other signs, right?
Yeah.
So I refluff the pillow. I do a full lap around the house. I go outside. I looked at everything to make sure. I'm like, is somebody getting in here?
Right.
Like,
is a window broken that I didn't notice?
Right.
Are they climbing up the drain pipe? I've had that. Mm-hmm.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Nothing. I'm looking on the roof. And I'm like, this is weird. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I'm gonna test it. So I fluff the pillow back up, chop it. I break off a little piece of the staging plant.
Yeah.
And I put it on top of the pillow.
You're like, if this is moved, then we know.
I swear. And I'm like, I know I'm going to be back here tomorrow. So I'm going like, for sure, if this is moved, then something.
And no windows were open.
Nothing.
No doors were unlocked.
Stephanie, nothing.
How did they get in?
Zero. So I'm going to put that there.
Well, if it's a ghost, they can get in, but yeah.
Well, this is where I'm like, this is a ghost.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to be back tomorrow. Cool. So I locked everything up, walked to the exterior, pulled on everything, pushed on windows that aren't even opening. I'm just like, let me just.
Like, does something push and slide? Like, my windows, for example, my handyman came and he had done some stuff for me and he's like, hey, you're on the first floor. Just so you know, these are the type of windows that if you don't lock it on accident, you can actually push lift and move the window completely out.
Right.
So like you always want to, I have little locks in the track, plus I keep everything locked down tight. But like those are things that could happen, right? Especially if someone is breaking in on a normal basis, like they'll look for those things. Are these vinyl windows easy to like pop out of place? Whatever. Anyway, continue.
Yes. Everybody out there, check your windows.
Please, please.
So the next day I come back. I'm like, okay. I'm like, is this a ghost? It's got to be a ghost. Because like, whatever. So I go in I walk through the living room. I do my normal. And I'm just like, just inching down the hallway.
Oh, I'm like, is your heart kind of racing?
Well, yes, because I'm like, is there somebody in the house? Because also before I left, I checked all the closets.
I was actually going to ask you that because I am someone who will like rip open a closet really quick, and you're just like, everything.
I checked the garage. I even unplugged the garage door because I'm like, if somebody's getting in, like, I don't know, are they lifting it? I'm just really doing any hypothetical situation.
Yes.
Behind the Lockbox is sponsored by Property Showcase Group. Property Showcase Group has a team of creatives, directors, producers, editors, marketing specialists, and designers that work in tandem to tell and share stories of the built environment. Whether you're looking for full-service production or simply just need content creation, Property Showcase Group can help take your business to the next level. To learn more or to contact Property Showcase Group to schedule a consultation, you can find them at propertyshowcasegroup.com. That's spelled PropertyShowcasegroup.com. PropertyShowcaseGroup.com. I'm back to talk about our sponsor and producer, Property Showcase Group. This is for all my agent and affiliate friends out there. Property Showcase Group has a special offer for you. The first 3 agents to email Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com will get 1 month free of social media management using code LOCKBOX. That's right, 1 month free. And they're offering 20% off your first video production using code LOCKBOX. For more information, contact Property Showcase Group at teampsg@propertyshowcasegroup.com, and don't forget to use code LOCKBOX or mention this podcast.
So I'm creeping down the hallway.
Oh my God.
And I like literally like if somebody had a camera on me, I like peer my head like
into the master.
My head. And the pillow again. No. And I walk in, I'm like, what the heck what is going on? So the piece of plant is now on the floor. And I'm like, this has to be a ghost. There's no
like nobody could have gotten in here.
No. So I'm like, that's it. So I call my contractor. I was like, you need to come meet me at this property because I think I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Or
somebody needs to come here and check this out.
Somebody's getting in, but then everything else is fine. Perfect.
Like no blanket off the bed was like messed up, like nothing.
No.
So my question is like,
chair.
Were they just like taking it off the pillow, laying on the ground and using it as their pillow, putting it back without fluffing it and leaving? But how were they getting in and out?
Getting in.
Right.
Or are we still a ghost?
Right. Who is just literally Merritt has followed me here and he is cooking with me. Yeah.
So my contractor comes and he walks the perimeter with me.
Yeah.
He looks at it. I was like, so we're in the house. He's like, Mia, he's like, everything's good. And I'm like, really? I'm like, this is just mind boggling. Because if it's not somebody, it's a ghost. He's like, well, there are ghost? I'm like, I know
You're
there's
like, I'm
ghosts, but I'm
aware.
like, I just don't want to like
grew
be
up with
dealing
one.
with this now. I'm like, I either have to call the homeowner and tell them someone's in the house or getting in, or it's a ghost. Like,
Yes. And what am I going to say? I can't. You don't want to call them and say, hey, look, I think we have a squatter until you know for sure someone has been there, whatever.
So now I'm like, I'm still not ready to call the homeowners.
No.
So I call my contractor. He does the perimeter with me. Then I was like, then I walk out of the house and I have this feeling. I'm like, I wonder if they're in the attic.
Oh my God. I literally, oh my God. My stomach just turned in a way I wanted to kind of throw up just then and I got goosebumps at the same time. Holy shit.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, they might be in the attic. And I was like, I don't want to come face to face with.
Absolutely not. And the fact that if they are, and that's where they've been hanging out the whole time you're there, just makes like, me very upset and
coming
sick.
Down at night and going back
I
up.
literally have chills everywhere right now. Like, oh my God, because you don't know who you're dealing with. And we've talked about this on this podcast so many times as women in this business. We do show up a lot of places alone. We can't always have somebody with us. Like I don't do open houses by myself anymore because things have happened to other people, not to me, thank God. Yeah. But like we do have to do showings. And I just said on the last week's episode, like if it's a vacant house that I'm showing for a buyer, I wait for my client. We go in together. Like it's just not worth it for me, especially if I'm like, I don't even know this area. If it's a little sketchier area, San Diego, even if it isn't, like there's been squatters in big houses here in La Jolla. Like again, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter. We've had waterfronts broken into where the person tried to tell our housekeeper that they lived there and they had broken on our $26 million waterfront.
Right.
Like it happens. Right. You don't want to come face to face with that. No. And so we have to be on our guard at all times. Okay, my God, were they tell me?
To your point, like the thing about squatters is if they want to get in, they will get in.
They will get in. It doesn't matter. It does not matter.
And
like
they're magicians.
They are.
They should have their own show.
Literally, Matt Davies and Matt Tovey, who were here. I don't know when that episode's coming out. It might come out after yours. I haven't decided yet. But for everyone, spoiler alert, if you haven't listened to it yet, they literally said the same thing because Matt has had a squatter and like they put up cameras to try to catch him. This was even a past episode. And like it didn't matter. He still was getting in. Right. And Matt Davies was like, they're smart.
Yeah.
Like they really, if they're going to get in, doesn't matter if they're on something or not, like they will get in. Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, continue. Oh my God.
So I was like,
was he there with you when that dawned on you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I don't know what we're up against here if that's the case.
Right.
So I ended up calling the local police.
Good.
And I said, hey, I've noticed that there may be somebody getting into this vacant property that I have. And mind you, it's in a good area.
Sure.
So,
it doesn't matter though.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
And so I was like, would you mind come and just sweeping the house with me?
Right.
And making sure, everything's fine.
Right.
And I also I'm curious if they're in the attic. So
that's where I need you to clear. Yeah.
So they come to the house.
How long did you have to wait? Was it a little?
No, it was like 10 minutes.
Oh, good. Okay,
yeah,
good.
they were just on local
Sometimes
patrol.
when you call local, it takes a little longer.
No, they were
non-emergency. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like midday. I mean, it's like noon.
Good.
So they came and, we pulled one of the old furniture chairs out of the garage and it was one of those like push up things.
Yes.
And I'm like at the end of the hallway, like waiting. So they come in and they push up and they go up into the attic and it's clear.
Okay.
No one's up there. I'm going.
You're like, are you sure you didn't see anything up there? There's no remnants?
Yeah.
Check again.
Yeah.
Is he hiding under insulation? I need to know.
So then I go up there.
You're like, no, I need to see for myself.
Yeah.
I can see you on the ladder just like a
100%.
little. What's that? What's a meerkat or whatever that's like. What's up here? I'm not going all the way in, but I need to see what's up here.
I need to see what's up here because I'm now private investigator.
Oh, I would be all. I'm like, no, I'm figuring this out.
Now I'm looking, I'm like, is the insulation moved?
Yeah, because they're not going to look at that stuff.
Crawl.
Yes.
And there's some rat sticky pads around. I'm like, are there any handprints? Mm-hmm. Do we have anything that we're noticing? Nothing. So then I'm having the officers look up the chimney. I'm like, is he coming down the chimney?
Because, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised. Literally, those things can happen. Yeah.
So, but it's full of, soot. So there's no
trail.
There's no trail. I'm looking for things.
Yep.
So we're walking around and I look at the microwave and the microwave handle is dirty. And I'm like, huh.
And again, no one is cooking food.
No one's cooking food.
No one's cooking
So
food.
I open it and there's some pizza remnants in there.
Shut. We do not have a ghost, people.
We don't have a ghost.
No.
So I'm like, okay. Open the fridge. There's like a liter of soda in there. Go out
This
on
whole
the
time
back
you would have
deck.
never thought to look at any of this.
Go out on the back deck, and on the deck there's like pizza droppings I see, because then I
They're
see
a very
like
messy eater.
And I was like, I go, okay.
I did not eat pizza here.
Right. So I'm going, But then everything like that they use, or what I'm noticing is they put it all back.
Right.
And then they go somewhere.
Right.
So I'm like, well, we need to do a full sweep. So police officers, full sweep with me.
Because he's there still when you
He's there
notice that
still
you're
when I
like,
notice.
okay,
I was
yo,
like-
this is like, no
I'm
one
like,
lives here.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I send my contractor to get bars cut at Home Depot to put in the windows.
Correct.
To
And
put
all the
in
doors. Yeah.
everything.
Yes.
I'm like, nobody's leaving until this house is unlocked.
secure. We are not going anywhere.
make sure.
Yeah.
So we do all that.
Yep.
I call the owners. I say, hey, I have reason to believe somebody's been getting into the house. I don't know when, why, how, but I have the police here. We've secured it. We've got now, bars in the backs of doors, whatever. So, because I'm like, if they're picking
Things are going through my mind now. Was it a previous tenant? Do they still have a key? Was it
Correct.
their son partying?
Thank you for reminding me. I had all the locks changed.
Oh, love it.
All the deadbolts,
Yep.
regular locks, everything. I was
Did
like,
they
that's
live there
it.
as a primary residence before this? Okay, so there wasn't a tenant that would live there or anything, so no one would have the key other than them.
Correct.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. You can still pick a lock.
Right.
Right.
So I'm going, okay. I'm like, there's no way. So here's what I do. Again, I do my setup in the bedroom.
This time you're like,
We get
something else on
I
top of
put
it.
two pieces of plants on the pillow. I even put a little piece of plant in the toilet because I'm like,
If they flush it.
they flush it.
Yep.
Let me see.
Yep.
But
So
I was
smart.
like, no one's getting in. So I said to my contractor, I said, meet me back here 9 a.m. tomorrow. And we're going to do walkthrough. Because we're all, I was meeting my girlfriend for a drink later. She's like, I'll meet you there. Let me investigate
Hell
with you.
yeah.
So then we have the owner come, my girlfriend comes. We're all walking. We're all giving our theories of how they're getting in. I mean, we could not have locked this house down anymore.
Any further. Right.
Aside from putting a full-on alarm system on, which we had already deployed, but
Okay.
it wasn't going to be in for 3 days.
Got it. I was going to say, did you install cameras?
So we put in more lights in the back, motion sensors, everything. We did a lot that day.
Wow.
So my contractor meets me there at 9 a.m. the next morning. I was like, okay, we unlock the door.
You guys needed to get there at like 6 a.m.
I know. We go into the master, toilet's flushed, pillow again.
No!
Oh.
You're like, we're going to have to sleep here.
I'm like, that's it. That's it. And I literally had my that's it moment. I said, you know what? I said to my contractor, I said, I'm hiring you for a stakeout tonight.
Hell yeah.
We're going to lock this place down again.
Yep.
I want you to come.
We need boys in the back. We need boys in the front and on each side.
Nope. I need you to slow roll, pull up with your lights off. And I need you to walk in the house at 2 a.m. That's what I need. Because whoever's getting in is somehow getting in. And then they're leaving by sunup. So the sweet spot's going to be between
Middle of the night. Literally
2
middle
a.m.
of the night. I agree with you.
So
Did he agree?
Of course. So he's like
Is he a G? Is he like, he's like down?
I made him like this special award that said, I won't say his name here, but you're my hero. And I took him to dinner and stuff, whatever.
I love it.
He's a G. He's
love
down.
it.
He's like, cool.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll
and
bring
he's
my
not
guy.
afraid. He's got his guy. He's got a bat. He's ready to go.
6'7".
Oh, hell
Big
yes.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, cool.
yeah.
So, and he loves it.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, I'll be
hell
there.
yeah, I'm doing 2 a.m.
Yeah.
He's like, don't worry about it. I got you.
So he's like, I'll bring my guy. We'll come up. I'm like, cool. I go, I'm going to keep my phone on ring tonight.
Yeah. Call me.
Call me if something's up.
Call 911 first, but then call me. Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
So I just I had this feeling at night. I'm like, man, he's going to call me. I go, because I know this guy.
I don't think I would have been able to sleep.
I
I would have been like staking out. I would have gotten out of bed at 1 and gone and like hung out on the corner of the cul-de-sac and just like waited or whatever,
And my girlfriend's all invested now.
Hell yeah.
The owner, we all have our phones on at night because we're like,
This is going to happen. This phone call's coming.
So He's like, cool, I'll be there between midnight and 2. I said, okay, cool. So sure enough, 1:30, my phone starts ringing. And I was like, tell me. He's like, I got him. Call 911. I got the guy.
He's got him hogtied.
He's got him. He's got him in the living room.
Holy shit.
And this just kind of turned into a thing because his friend walked in with him and had a baseball bat. Now we've got 9 squad cars, a helicopter.
Shit. No.
I'm like, I have to disclose this.
Oh, no. Yeah, you do. You're like, so there was a little incident, but don't worry. We got it under control. It's fine.
Like, oh, no.
SWAT came. It's all good.
So it is so fun. So while I'm on the phone with my guy, I hear the helicopter speaker go, sir, put down the bat.
And he's like, dude, I'm just defending myself. It's all good. Like, SWAT rolls up and they're like guns out. And he's like, no, I'm the good one.
Yes.
Like,
oh, so
stop.
he ends up like catching the guy, and the story gets weirder.
Mia, how was he getting in?
This gets weirder. This gets weirder.
Oh my God.
So he's got him, right? The police take him, escort him off the premises.
Okay.
The owner slept through the ringing, so he didn't.
So at 6 a.m. you're like,
yeah.
Excuse me, we had a little bit of a police situation. I just wanted to let you know.
Yes, which
the neighbors woke up too.
which he was the only one who could press charges.
The owner,
because he's the owner of the house.
Oh my God.
So I don't have
God.
authority to do it. So we weren't able to press charges, but they confirmed that it was a young homeless person.
Okay.
Didn't appear harmful or anything.
But he was just needed a place to stay, and he was literally like, this place looks good. And also he knew how to just like sneak in to,
Yes.
Yeah.
So my contractor and him got into a little bit of a thing. He was like, my contractor was bleeding. Paramedics came. So it turned into
the
a
guy
whole
try
thing.
to like fight back basically?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
He basically said, he was going like, hey, please don't call the police or whatever. He's like, no, dude, we're calling the police or whatever.
Yeah, because you keep coming back. Yeah, right.
And so this is where it takes a weird turn. So they escort the guy off, and my contractor and the police, they secure the property, everything.
Okay.
And then my contractor calls me back. He's like, hey, so I was like, dude, meet me there in the morning. I'll have the owner come too.
Right.
He goes, the house is messy. Like in the master bedroom, like there's like women's lingerie on the floor. There's like a bunch of food.
Oh, so this escalated.
So I was like, really? So basically they had been coming in and kind of camping out for a second, using the shower, the bathroom, and then leaving somehow.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay. I was like, meet me there in the morning. Like, let's assess kind of what they did, and we'll like clean it up. We'll get it back market ready or whatever.
Right.
So I meet him there in the morning, and we go inside the house, and he's like, well, let me show you the master. Like, that's where it's all like,
and you had never
crazy.
So
I was like, ugh.
Was it messy then because he caught him while he was there?
Correct.
They hadn't cleaned anything up.
Yes.
Okay.
So
we didn't know there was a second person involved.
Well, right. So I go and I walk into the master, and it's spotless.
I'm so scared. I'm so freaked out. Like I literally would die. Like
My contractor goes,
he probably lost it.
he goes, did you come here last night? And I was like,
You're like, hell no.
No.
I tried to go back to bed even though I probably couldn't
goes-
sleep.
he looked at the owner. He's like, have you been here? And we're talking, this is like 9 a.m. in the morning.
So it's not like noon.
not like noon.
Even still, the house was secure and locked down.
So whoever else was there came back, cleaned everything, and left. And
How did they get in?
when I asked my contractor, I go, did you ask him how he got in? And he goes, I just walked in the front door. We never found out how he got in, how they were getting in.
What?
But it was the trippiest thing because he's like, "You've not been here yet." I was like, no. I was like, he's like,
because the master was a mess. Like there was like lingerie and food and everything. I mean, at least they were clean squatters. I mean, if there is like a, silver lining to this story, like what?
Yes. But it ended up, I know. It's one of the, it's
an unsolved mystery.
It's an unsolved mystery.
We're going to have, I don't like this. We need to figure this out.
I know.
I know. Do we know where the guy is that they press charges on?
They ended up not pressing charges on him because the owner didn't answer their phone that night. So they ended up relocating him to another community further away. I don't know where they ended up dropping him off.
Or put him in a shelter or something.
Which was like best case scenario because it's like,
again,
I get it.
He's just trying to like. And at least they were cleaning up and they weren't destroying things. Right. And they probably, maybe they were on stuff, who knows, but they weren't like, I mean, we've heard and seen the stories and even run into where they are doing drugs in the house. And I mean, my $7 million waterfront on Dolphin years ago, we had someone break in, climb up the water pipe, busted out the closet window and got on that Juliet balcony and got in that way. And they were eating Taco Bell, which I was like, good choice. My favorite.
Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. But they made a mess all over the brand new white carpet, cigarette stains. Like we had to rip out all the stuff and we had were prepping it for staging. So that was really upsetting.
Yeah.
But that's how they kept getting in. So it's like, then we saw damage. Like we knew how they got in. You know what I mean? Like this is crazy.
I know. I've lost sleep over trying to figure out how they got in.
I'm probably going to lose sleep over this because I want to know.
And the police said, they're like, honestly, he may have picked the deadbolt because some of these guys can. He goes, or he may popped out a window. I'm like, I pushed down all the windows.
You're like,
don't tell me.
You're like, no. I put, what are those things called?
Me.
Yeah, you put sticks in the windows. Like
about
he's not.
The doors and windows.
I paid for a locksmith. That is wild. So it
was pretty wild and it turned into this big extravagant thing. But I'm like, I'll be damned if I'm letting some guy come in and out. So if anybody ever needs it, I've got a guy.
You've got a guy. This is one of my favorite stories. I gotta tell you, that is insane.
I know it is total behind the lockbox.
Total behind the lockbox, and because literally was he like somehow rigging the lockbox open and getting the key out? I don't think so. What kind of box do you use?
I have one that I track, so I get
the
notified.
Century one. It's not gonna. Yeah, okay. That
so I'll get notified
because if it was a coded one, maybe. But like you would even still see like there's no way.
There's no way.
He had to have been picking the front lock.
I know,
and she had to have known how to do that too.
If you hear this, call me. I want to talk to you.
If you're out there, if there's any homes people listening to this podcast, which hey, welcome. Come, make sure you're downloading. I need the downloads. Thanks. Yeah, let's talk. That's so funny. Okay, we're gonna play a really quick game.
Okay.
I'm not going to move past this story. This is insane. Okay. It's called Punch List because we hit you with 3 questions. I'm not going to ask you the first one because it's what is the weirdest thing or situation you've ever walked in on? I think you've answered that with this story.
Yeah, that would be it.
That would be it. Or the ghost. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The next one is, what is your biggest pet peeve?
In real estate in general?
Yeah. Or life.
Mm-hmm. My biggest pet peeve. I mean, it's probably a lot of people's biggest pet peeve, but people being late. I am calling. One of the most punctual people.
Yeah.
And I just have a big pet peeve around people being late and lack of communication.
I agree. I especially struggle, and this is in the business too, like when you have a call set with a client or you have a showing set up and then you get there and they're like, oh, sorry, like not going to happen today. Like I'll call you tomorrow. And you're like, okay. Well, thanks for wasting my time.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much. We put up with it a lot. Okay. I feel like I know the answer to this, but I think you're going to maybe shock me with this one because you've done so many things in your very young life. If you could be anything other than a real estate agent, what would you be and why?
If I could be anything.
Like anything. Money doesn't matter, school, like it doesn't, or if you wanted, like it doesn't matter. Anything.
Oh, man, if I could be anything other than well, there's the obvious one. I would be a television host full time.
Yeah.
For sure.
You'd be so good at it.
Yeah, I feel like that's my other passion. Yeah. And I typically tend to follow passion versus money.
Which is the good thing because it usually, when you love it, it will lead to good things usually.
That's my...
Usually.
Which when you called out my Instagram profile, like I'm a lover of dumb fun. And what I mean by that is that I really won't do anything unless I love it.
Agreed.
And I every time I've followed fun or excitement or my joy, it's always led me to the exact place that I'm supposed to be. Because I also feel like when you're in that zone, that's when you operate at your highest frequency.
I agree.
And everything just starts kind of aligning with that. Yeah. So I've always, the TV show came from our creative content. When I moved here from Hollywood, I was in TV.
You lived in LA and you had connections and things, right? I assume. Yes. And so you you guys did. You had such good content you were putting out. Yeah. And so I agree. It's why I started this podcast. It's, so many people are like, oh, like it seems like I freeze up. Like you're so good at it. I also started in TV a long, long time ago, news, but like decided it wasn't what I wanted to do. But this is very full circle for me, right? Because it just comes to that and it's easy and natural for us. And so, I agree.
The unexpected thing that I don't ever talk about with anybody that I would love to be is like a backup dancer or performer. Now, mind you,
are we kind of the same person? Because I said I would love to be a country singer, but I can't sing.
I cannot.
Do we just like the spotlight? Maybe
I like to think I can sing because I will do my own car karaoke with myself and then like post about it.
Love.
But my favorite song is "Gangster's Paradise." So, and one of my highest joys, one of my highest joys in life was when I requested it when I was at a live music venue in Chicago. And there was a band that was performing there. And I literally put like $200 up in the air and waved the guy over. And I was like, please play Gangster's Paradise. He's like, you? He's looking at me like.
The white girl? Okay.
The white girl wants Gangster's Paradise.
Trust me.
Yes. I'm like, it's my favorite
song. There's a G
song.
living in here. Just go ahead.
So then he, like after their first song, I see him walk over to the singer who was a female. Oh. And she like looks at me and she looks back at him and he's like whispering in her ear and she looks back at me. She's like, she goes into the mic. She's like, hold on a second. She walks over to me side stage. She's like, you want Gangster's
You're
Paradise?
Like, I feel very judged right now. Can you just play my favorite song?
She's like, that's your favorite song? I was like, yeah. She goes, do you want to take this then? I go, yes, I do. Ah! So I got up there and there's probably like 2,000 people there. I have video of this. And the last time I posted it was on the anniversary of Coolio's passing, which R.I.P. Very sad. But I got up there on stage and I remember I had like high tight black pants on, this black top hat, and I had like a crop top with a long sweater over it. On my way to the stage, I took off my sweater and I have these tight satin black pants on and I just went like rogue on Gangster's Paradise.
And you were literally like, your persona took over. Like,
if you want a clip to insert that in,
I would like that, please. I was actually going to ask. So yes, please, for YouTube. Everyone watch YouTube and you will get to see it.
God. My persona totally took over. I FaceTimed probably 20 of my closest friends that night on the biggest high. And I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be a performer. But I also think that's why I like to do my surprises to my parents
100%.
Too, because I like a good reaction.
You do. And who doesn't? And I love that. And I think, again, it's just something that like brings you joy. And then everyone else is like, hell yeah. And it brings them joy. And it's just like the high goes up. You know what I mean? Like,
couldn't agree more.
Okay, I think we might need to go do karaoke and perform that song together. I'm just saying.
God.
Okay, let's do it. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You might have to come back for a part 2.
I'm down for a part 2.
We're gonna have to do that because I'm gonna. And by the way, we're gonna need to go to those owners' houses, the new and be like, sorry, we're doing some investigating. Even though you bought this house, we still need to investigate
we need
some more.
your security camera footage.
Yeah, please, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're
this
welcome.
was so
Thank
fun.
you, Stephanie.
Thank you so much for listening, guys. We'll see you next week, but please don't forget, follow us at Behind the Lockbox on Instagram, on YouTube. Please subscribe. And of course, leave us a kind review and download the show. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Behind the Lockbox is produced and edited by Property Showcase Group. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, or review this podcast. Thanks for your support. See you next week.